This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Peterball family farm, hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Tips for carbonating and serving water, avoiding suckback when cold conditioning, does time heal most off flavors, and dealing with the stalled fermentation. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 455. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. Even better, why don't you call it in? Leave a voicemail after the beep to our hotline 325-305-6107. If your voicemail is worthy of playing played and addressed on a future episode, you'll get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. It doesn't get much better than that, but it does, because today I'm joined once again by my favorite person in the world, who I gave adequate time. I gave her tons of heads up this week. Queen Bee over at homebrewtalk.com. Queen Bee over, at brewersfriend.com specifically. It's my good buddy, Lorena Evans. Lorena, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm great. Got a little laryngitis, yeah, so I promise not to sing.
No,
but doing great.
I'm so happy you're on. And then I didn't realize you were sick last time you were on the show just a couple weeks ago. I'm so sorry for doing this to you.
No, I'm thrilled to be here. This is like one of the high points of my
you're buttering me up now. You're like, I
suck up to me, I suck up to you.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Reciprocating of the butt kissing. Absolutely. Now, you look great. It's just when you started talking, you don't sound bad. I just could tell everyone, and I'm only hypersensitive to it now because a lot of people in my immediate bubble are all some respiratory things going around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My kids have got it, had it. My wife had something. Todd's been sick for 2.5 weeks of I think he's definitely on the way better side of it, but he's still coughing up a lung every now and then. And
me too. Yeah.
I wonder what's going on around the country. I wonder what it is.
I heard flu. but I did, by the time I was willing to go to the doctor, I was kind of like, I wasn't on my deathbed, but I was pretty sick. So they tested me not for flu, and I'd already been sick about 10 days, maybe longer.
Yeah.
They tested me for COVID, which was negative, tested me for strep, which was positive, but I think the strep snuck in on the end of the flu, because I was getting better for a while, and then I just went down. So, and then this wonderful, wonderful bronchitis, has kind of interfered with my life a little bit. I was telling you earlier, though, Josh, my dear husband, once I got so bad I couldn't talk at all, he couldn't stop smiling. I can't figure it out.
One of my favorite one-liners bits that my grandfather, my dad's dad, was my favorite person on the planet and funniest guy I've ever met. And he would tell people, he would his wife's name, his name was Vastine, his wife's name was Patsy. And he'd go, Patsy and I have been married for 32 wonderful years. And she'd be like, Vastine, you idiot, we've been married for 55. And he'd say, but 32 have been wonderful. That was always my favorite thing from him, that he would say, and he'd introduce her as his first wife. He was just, I've tried that with mine, and women today, the younger women aren't built, they don't take a crap the same, I guess. My grandmother was just old enough at that point to be like, yeah, he's a schmuck, and I'm stuck. But like, my wife does not think it's funny when I'm like, have you met my first wife, Christy? She doesn't.
Germans are not known for their great, wonderful sense of humor.
What about half Germans?
Yeah, well, there you go.
But anyways, I am so happy to steal some of your time. We have a little bit of small talk. What I want to say, though, at the top of the show, we talked about off recording, but you have now, the Homebrew Happy Hour bump has affected your life. You had someone recognize you, and I'm so happy for that, because that's like when Todd realized the show was real, with real audience, not just the Chinese bot farm that I pay oodles of money to every week for dozens of listeners. I have to pay money for them. Like the first time many years ago, someone called the office back when we were running the retail operation, and Todd answered the phone every time. He still does. It's just not our phone number on the website anymore. And so, hey, Cat Connection, how can I help you? Oh my God, is this Todd from Homebrew Happy Hour? And he thought, and that happened hundreds of times over the course of the last decade. And that's when he was validated. Like, okay, Josh isn't making this up. Like, these are real people.
This is a real thing.
But somebody recently did that to you, right?
Yeah, just this morning, early in the morning, I was going through some support tickets at the help desk at Brewer's Friend. And I had responded to a gentleman last evening about a password reset or something. And I got a note back from him this morning, and he said, as he was reading my response, he was listening to Homebrew Happy Hour, the last one I did with you, Josh, and he saw my name at the bottom, and he put them together. He's like, is this you?
I
said,
it.
Yes, Phil, it is me. Thank you. Thank you for listening. So I thought that was kind of cool, because one of your dozens of listeners
is real. He's real. And I hate to tell you, I'm Phil. I made up a whole email. It was worth the whatever premium membership is just to con you. That's my whole shtick, is just conning everybody.
No, I know that's not true because I recognize your typing.
Yeah. This guy was literate. Okay, got it. Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that. I meant the font. Yeah, the font.
Yeah, the font type. The guy was literate. He was legible. And Josh, you're so cheap. I know you wouldn't have done this.
Exactly.
No, it's true. Todd does know I don't pay for bots. One, it doesn't behoove us. We don't make money on this show. So, I don't need to spend money on it, if that makes sense. But also, people, I think Todd, what he appreciated, and not to take a hard turn on this, but the audience we have, maybe it's the homebrewing community, maybe it's just being around for so long. They are the ones that are the most engaged are the ones that respond. Like for Brewer's Friend, right? When we talk about it because we believe in it, and our audience trust us in that, because we're not selling stuff. I don't make any money off of Brewer's Friend. I won't throw his name under the bus, but the big boss at Brewer's Friend he's bought me lunch a couple times, though, to be fair.
He bought you lunch?
He does. I go to Las Vegas with him frequently. Yeah. Yeah. And every now and then, though,
he took me for ramen one time, and I wasn't sure if he was going to or not. So I did bring my cash. And what we did was, Bob was with me, and I'm pretty sure we just stuck him with the check.
Yeah.
I don't think he volunteered.
Yeah. What do you think I did? I don't ask him. I do what I do with everyone. Like when the bill comes and you go, oh, you're getting it? Okay, thank you so much. No, he's a good guy, and
he is a great guy.
I do offer or at least I pretend to offer. I'll be like, I'll look at the bill. I'll say the old, oh, that's not bad. Well, that's not bad. Do you want to take a look at the bill? You want to take a look at it? The check, and then oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. No, that's Todd's move.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad because I drink beer, and usually a craft beer, and he is a big. Real good like bourbon aficionado and a real good red wine aficionado.
Oh yeah.
So I don't really feel too bad. I got my my $4 beer or whatever, $6 beer. I don't feel too bad.
Yeah, next time you're in town, y'all come to San Marcos, and me and Bob will all go to lunch with him, and we'll all stick him with the bill. No, we'll all stick him with the bill. Yeah, we'll do whatever play is in our playbooks, and then we'll laugh about it on the next episode.
You go to the bathroom. I'll say I forgot my purse.
Yeah.
Bob lost his wallet.
Yeah. Oh, my wallet. Oh, I think I left it in the car. Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Planned, committed, perfect.
And we know he doesn't listen to this show.
I know he doesn't. Yeah. He'll when we do talk about stuff, he didn't do this to me, but a longtime listener recently did this to me. And it wasn't a real stab, but someone who was a longtime listener or knows about the podcast had reached out and was like, hey, if you're still doing that podcast thing, I might have a question for you. And I was like, how dare you? If I'm still doing, how easy it would be to just Google if there's new episodes? Oh, that little hobby of yours. Or if you're still doing that little hobby. Oh, I didn't even reply to him yet. I was just
good.
Yeah, I wasn't.
That'll teach him.
I'm petty. That's the Mexican in me. That could be just the human experience, but in my anecdotal experience, that's the Mexican in me.
Yeah, but grudge holding.
The grudge holding.
The German.
There are aunts and cousins or whatever that have been feuding, and they don't even know why they're fighting anymore. Decades have gone, and they have no idea why they're still fighting. But anyways, that's for the Homebrew Therapy Hour podcast. That's next week.
That's right. That's next.
That's next. Coming up.
We're supposed to talk about beer.
This episode is about beer. You better believe that.
Right.
Before we get to
the right show.
Yeah, before we get to that, I do have a little bit of relevant small talk. You're no stranger to the show. Let me just get through it real quick. While Lorena's on, I'll say it at the top. My friends, I don't make money off this, but you can save money by going to brewersfriend.com and using promo code Happy Hour. We have verified as all one word, Happy Hour, and you'll get 25% off your premium membership. brewersfriend.com, promo code Happy Hour, all one word. I had a lady, our friend Sarah, who's a member of the Chub Club, reach out and verify it works. It is one word, Happy Hour, 25% off over at brewersfriend.com. Also, it is last call. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. You'll get the Abbey Road Belgian triple, a boozy Belgian triple shipped out to you. It is a little delayed. Imperial had a delay on their pouches for the strain. And I'll say this, Lorena, someone asked me, could you not just ship out like an alternative strain like a Chico or whatever? And it wouldn't be a Belgian if I did that. It has to have a very specific strain in order for it to, there's characteristics of that yeast, specifically in my mind, what pops up is the astringency that makes it a Belgian. I don't know what else is more specific to it. Like I don't ever get like cloves in that much as I get like that.
You don't? Yeah, I do. I get the phenol. It's not so much clove-like phenol, a Hefeweizen.
You're right.
But there's definitely phenols in there, and there's definitely, especially when you go really high in the triples, there's a definite, I don't want to say bubblegum because that also can be kind of Hefeweizen, but similar fruity flavor like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes some stone fruit and some really wonderful flavors. And you will not get that with a Chico.
No, you just won't. And I don't even know, what would it just be at that point? A boozy golden ale? if we did
Yeah.
Chico
Yeah,
right.
American Golden Ale,
Be an
if
American.
such a thing.
Yeah, if such a thing. But you know what? We're Americans. We do whatever we want. We could call it
That's
and create whatever we
Can't
want.
tell me what to do.
Yeah, you can't tell me what to. Now you sound like me talking to every person of authority in my life, like Todd
I've been
specifically.
hanging around with you way too long.
That's right. I tell Todd all the time, you can't tell me what to do. He goes, yeah, I can. Yes, I can.
I'm your boss.
Do you not understand the dynamic for the last 18 years is me telling you what to do? This is actually, yeah, so let me finish the small talk. I'm sorry. Patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. Join the recipe receiving tier. Thank you to our sponsors at Hops Direct, Muntons, Monster Brewing Hardware, and of course, Imperial Yeast for believing in what we do so much that they support us with ingredients in the mill and all that stuff. And it makes these kits premium, guys. So when you support us, you're also supporting them. And you can find most of all that stuff in your local homebrew supply shop or whatever online retailer that you prefer. Trying to think of what else I have in the small talk. Did you hear HomebrewCon's coming back? I don't know if you heard that yet.
I did. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Oh, come on.
You know what? I live quite literally in the middle of nowhere.
You do?
Like if you go nowhere and search for the epicenter, that's where I live.
Yeah.
So it is even a 2-day trip to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so to go 2-day trip both ways to go to a 2-day event. Although Asheville.
That's why I thought you might get roped in because it's Asheville. They're smart.
I have a new grandchild coming. I'll find out for sure when. Might not be till July. So if that's the case,
maybe
twist my arm a little bit.
I'm going to try.
Let me work in the booth with you a little bit.
I was going to say I'm going to try. I'm going to try to twist your arm. I'm going to try to. I'm very excited to see what they do. They're geniuses for I don't want to say underestimated them. I just assumed because of where they're headquartered, try to save money, whatever, that they'd probably do it in Denver. And then I told Todd, we'll probably go, but that might hurt the appeal of people going for whatever reason. Asheville is a smart choice because I don't even know the last time, if ever, they've done a homebrew con in North Carolina.
I think until Sierra Nevada built that brewery there, that the laws were pretty strict, especially serving homebrew. I mean, we can thank all the people, including the AHA, for making homebrewing at least legal in all 50 states. That took that's actually a fairly recent thing within the last, 15, 18 years.
20, under 20 for sure. Yeah.
To be able to have a homebrew con in the South, it's pretty huge. And North Carolina.
Yeah, and Asheville, I've heard, is beautiful.
And Asheville is like Beer Village, USA now. So, okay, you talked me into it. We just got to sell it to Bob.
We'll figure it out. We got Bob on board. That's okay. I'll send him a care package, and he can only open it if he agrees to go. It'll be a hat, an updated. Well, look, I can't even afford updated hats. Look how filthy this one is. But we'll figure it out. I'll spend Todd's money. We'll figure it out. But yeah, HomebrewCon coming back. Thanksgiving. This is publishing on Thanksgiving Day. I don't know if you have any. Y'all are in Florida for Thanksgiving, I'm assuming. Yeah. Do you have anything special on tap for your Thanksgiving celebration, or is it just same old?
I am off. I don't have to work. Well, I'm going to do a little Brewers Fest stuff in the morning, I'm sure, because it's not a holiday for every one of our customers. But I think kayaking. A turkey day kayaking with just my husband, because that's about the quietest time on the water when everybody else is on holidays. We've been invited because we're still getting over the crud. We're not contagious, but we do have some coughing going on. And we just felt that we should just stay home just this one time. So we're staying home with my dog.
So it might be, what is on tap in regards to homebrew? Do you have anything?
All I have is an IPA, go figure.
Go figure.
And a Cabernet Franc, a Cab Franc.
That you made?
Yeah, but it's a kit. I got it. I got a kit, and Cab Franc happens to be one of my favorite. And it was a pretty high quality kit, so it's pretty good. And then I have some neighbors who they're weekenders, but not even weekenders. Their whole family is here for Thanksgiving. Whoa. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get some people wandering over to our kegerator. We'll probably wander over to theirs and some neighbors. So, and they're all starting to roll in already. So, we're going to have a kind of a quiet time at home when we want. If we want to socialize, we will. No family coming this year.
No,
So.
but at least it sounds like you'll enjoy the day regardless.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
kayaking is going to be the
Absolutely.
best, I bet. Oh, that's
Yeah.
going to be so
Yeah.
fun.
I love kayaking in the marsh and in our backwaters here, but we also have a river that goes out to the Gulf, and so I can get in the river, I can go in the backwaters,
Yeah.
and a lot of wildlife right now. We're seeing a lot of dolphins and manatees.
Oh,
Pretty
again,
cool.
life is good.
Doesn't that suck?
Here's how people don't give me credit for how smart I am, Lorena. I
No,
I know.
really?
Isn't that nuts? I have planted the seed in enough people's brains in my family, or at least got them bit by the bug, whatever sayings I want to butcher while I'm doing the show. But my aunt, we always do Thanksgiving usually at my aunt and uncle's in San Antonio on my dad's side. And they've been brewing, I want to say, for over 7 years. Maybe I'll take the under on 7. Maybe it's been like 5 years. Now, I don't have to take our beer with us to family get-togethers. They brew beer, and I get to go have great craft beer on tap at my family get-together. So I don't know what they have this year. Last year, they had like or last year, they actually had a pumpkin beer, I think, that was real good. And
Really?
they may have a cider as well. It's not because of the drinking. I just have bad short-term memory. I don't remember what they had, but I'm looking forward to it because not normally, but I would offer, like in the past, hey, if you want us to bring some beer over or whatnot, we can do that. I don't even have to worry about it now. And
Just show up.
because of how selfish I am with my own beer, I don't have to bring my own beer. It's still mine.
Now, see, I guess I need to learn what you're doing because, my children grew up with me brewing, and neither one of them really likes beer.
Stop.
So I've put them off beer for life, I think. My daughter's spouse, he likes IPAs too, so we get along just fine. But I'm going to visit my son, and he has a cidery walking distance to his house,
yeah.
and he can't wait to take me there.
You're gonna have a good
that's what
time.
I'm doing next Saturday, I believe, going in Norfolk, Virginia area.
Is hard cider is like 5-ish% a rule of thumb, or is it all over the place with cider?
It's all over the place. I mean, what you and I might consider an apple wine, it can still be a cider. I mean, I think if you're entering it into a competition, you really want to nail those guidelines, just like with beer. But really, I've had people say 5%. Oh, I can't even. My bubble gum is 5%. So, and so they go higher, and it's like, and cider, we always think is apple, perry is pear, but you can call whatever you want cider, however you want.
That's
right?
a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
And so you might get some blueberry cider for all I know. I don't know. We'll find out.
We're going to find
blueberry
out.
wine, but so we're going to find out. I've actually never been to an active cider only place. So I'm pretty excited about that. The fact that my son wants to take me there after not wanting to be seen in public with me for like the first 28 years of his life, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm at that phase with my daughters, my older two especially. Where
You don't exist. Drop you off. And when you take them to school.
And further away from the school.
Like nobody drove them to school.
Yeah. Yeah, further away, like you tried to drop them off at the door. Now it's like a block and a half away. Like, Dad, right here is fine. No, let me take you to the door. Dad, right here, please. Yeah, I don't get it.
Because nobody else has parents.
Yeah, no kidding, right? It might be the music I'm blaring. It's, I might be embarrassing them. It's just old Mexican music. Evil Van. Yeah, they get it embarrassed. Anyways, though.
I'm sure they love it.
They love it. That is all the small talk I have. Believe it or not, before we get into the questions, I sort of have...
it's time for listener feedback.
I don't know if you've ever heard that bumper for listener feedback. I made it years ago because it annoyed Todd, and now I use it. And I never hardly take listener feedback, but I got some recently. A buddy, Aaron G, wrote in, I just watched your 1-gallon kombucha video, and it was fantastic. You made the whole process so approachable, and I feel confident enough to try brewing kombucha. It was easy to follow along with you. Thank you for sharing. I bring that up because when I have kombucha questions, I always pester you, and that's the appropriate word. I bombard you with questions via text because I'm too cowardly to call. So I'm just like... Accurate. But I did on New Year's Day of this year a follow along live stream it was 25 minutes maybe, total video. And that was because I talked so much, but showing how stupid easy it is to make kombucha. And you're the one who actually equipped me with that knowledge.
Well, like you said, stupid easy. Who better to teach than you?
That's right. If I can do it, my friends, you can do
Anybody
it too.
can do it.
Anybody can do it if I can do it. But kombucha is just making sweet tea and then fermenting it. Like that's what
Absolutely.
I try to tell people, that it is so easy, and especially everything right now is expensive. We all agree on that. You go to the grocery store or whatever. A can of kombucha in San Marcos, Texas is not less than $5. $5, Lorena. I can make the 5-gallon keg for less than $5. Right. And they're selling a 12-ounce can for $5? No.
When the big boss, who shall not be named, came to visit me one time, he had stopped and bought a case of GT's kombucha to come to my place.
That's funny. Did you have it on tap? Are you always on tap?
No,
I know you don't keg
because
it,
I was in Texas. I had bottled some. I didn't have a ton, but okay.
That's funny.
He says, this is really good. And I'm like, I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is.
Mr. Deep Pockets.
Yeah, right. The biggest flex in our industry is the guy who buys a case of kombucha. You're like, whoa, money bags. Whoa.
Or worse, a case of Topo Chico, which they also brought.
Oh, that is funny. That's the net. When I was actually doing the video, I think one of my proclamations was the only thing easier than kombucha to brew, and that's very big air quotes, is sparkling water. Sparkling mineral water. We sell the mineral packs over at kegconnection.com. You dilute it into the water, you fill up the keg, boom. It's RO water, first off, but then you literally have a keg of kombucha, of Topo Chico.
Topo Chico. And I would challenge you, if you carbonate it to the same volume, to notice the difference.
Exactly. I know. It is.
It's not.
It's not. And Topo Chico is stupid expensive. It is.
Yeah, and my RO Topo Chico from you guys is like, I don't know, what is that, like 90 cents?
Yeah.
For 5 gallons.
Yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing. But yeah, people, Aaron, I appreciate when people have positive things to say about our YouTube channel. It's not usually that way, but people, when they
I wasn't nodding and agreeing with you. No.
You almost did a spit take. I had to take the camera onto me. You were like,
I know. Yeah.
I
almost threw in my $2 keyboard, just so you know.
My friend, if I show my $2, if I showed you, especially in the early days of the podcast, some of the emails I got from people, because everyone has an opinion, especially when they don't think positively of you. And I mean, literally, I've had people call me every name under the sun. And that's not just the emails from my dad. I mean, from actual listeners, call me every name under the sun. I like the ones that are like, you think you're so funny. And I reply, yeah, you get it. You get it. Absolutely. Yeah. See, we're on the same page, friend. I don't know what are you trying to prove here? But then people like, it's mostly, y'all talked about this, and here's how you're so wrong, and not just correcting us with another method or a counter argument, but like to put you down. That's less than 1% of our audience. So I don't harp on it, because 99% of people with feedback are like, hey, have you ever thought of this method? And let me explain it to you in a friendly way that's approachable. And if you have any more questions, let me know. The other end of that spectrum is, Josh, I cannot believe they put a microphone in front of you to talk about this stuff because you're stupid. And again, not just emails from my father. That is actual listeners. So
well, it's probably from your mom.
It is. You're right. Yeah. My mom can't work technology on her iPad. That would take her a week to type up. Mijo, you should not. Just think of the grandma from the movie Coco. That's my mother.
No.
I love you, Mom. If you're watching this with Dad, I love you.
She's not. Don't worry.
No, but he might tell her because he's a narc. He's a snitch. But anyways, Aaron, thank you. And guys, let me tell y'all, if you have feedback for the show and you want to get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com, call it in to 325-305-6107 when I use your voicemail feedback, but preferably a question. But either or, if I use your voicemail on a future episode, like I said, get yourself that gift card to kegconnection.com. Let's go into the questions, Miss Lorena.
Awesome.
The gong of questions. Did you hear it? Did you not hear it? Here, hold on. You heard it? Okay. Whew. I was scared there for a second. It's a hit or miss. Our first question.
That's 2 sound effects in a row.
That is, I know. I'm good. It's almost like I've been doing this for way too long. Our first question is a text message from our buddy Stuart, and he said, "Stuart here again. You pressure and serve your water at 35 psi. Could I pressure to 35 for a week or two and then serve at half of that pressure until I have a faucet that can handle so much psi? My Cobra tap can't do it." And let me tell people who are maybe new and Cobra tap, Picnic tap, Cobra tap, what they mean is those plastic faucets that if you've ever been to a keg party in your entire life, that's the kind of little cheapy plastic thing. I'll put it in the description so people can see a link to it, but it's a cheapo plastic thing on the end of liquid line, not intended for anything fancy, just getting beer or whatever beverage into a cup. But it is a good question because I've never considered this. I do. My water setup is just for water, and I have a regulator, a Becker regulator at 35 to 40, and it goes to a 2-way distributor that feeds into 2 kegs. They're both being carbonated at 35, and then I'll have a flow control handheld event faucet from Becker on this whichever keg I'm serving from,
Right.
and serving that. So I'm simultaneously carbonating and serving from that keg at that pressure. And you correct me, the statement I'm about to make. I'd assume, Lorena, if I turned it down after a week or two or whatever to 15, as I continue to serve from the serving keg, it'll eventually become noticeable within a day or two, the difference in the carbonic bite, won't it? Because of the headspace? I mean, I don't know.
No, it has to do, of course, the headspace. But the other thing to think about is if you think about gases, and the physics of it, gases always seek equilibrium. And so not only, water doesn't foam like beer. If anybody's ever tried to do that with beer, they find out about beer foaming. But water won't foam. But what happens is, yes, it'll try to seek equilibrium. It'll kind of decarb a little bit. But that's not the worst of it, because even if he turns it down to serve. Okay, so I cannot, through my Cobra tap, do 35 psi, so I'm going to turn it to 12. The liquid itself is still carbonated at that point to 4.2 volumes or whatever that level is. So the pressure is still going to be there. So the serving pressure itself really would not matter until it's decarbonated quite a bit. So what you could do, there's a couple things you could do, and one, he didn't mention the length of his lines. I don't have the flow control faucet, so I have a 25-foot 3/16 ID line. There's enough restriction there that it doesn't blast out. Now, I can't guarantee a Cobra faucet's going to still handle that, but that is something to consider if you're not doing that. If you're using 5-foot lines, the restriction can help.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, in a pinch, I've taken a keg of water to a party and bought some of those spray pump flavor things and served it at 8 psi or something, and it worked.
Yeah.
But would I leave it there forever and not remove that at when I'm done serving? No. So I think at this point, what you've got to do, if you're going to have sparkling water at 35 psi, and I'm assuming about 40 degrees, right? Not room temperature, but about 40 degrees. I would say you definitely got to get the right faucet for that, along with the line or the flow control faucet.
Yeah.
Which, you deal with that, and your lines aren't very long when you have that faucet.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I didn't consider it would be a lot more affordable of a solution to buy the hose. Like that's way cheaper to just buy 25-foot of 3/16 hose and troubleshoot it there, because I think the event faucet is like $45 or $50, which again, I've told people a ton of times, worth every penny. That faucet is so versatile, not just for my water, not just for beer. When I'm forced carbonating a keg and being able in real time to test the carbonation level without, again, making a mess, it is handheld. We used to call it the beer gun. Then John Blickman, love you. Hope you're enjoying retirement. They sent us a cease and desist. You can't call it the beer gun. So now we call it the flow control event faucet. Same product, but it is the most versatile. It's always in my perennial top 5 of favorite piece of equipment when we do, like, we're going to probably next week talk about that with Todd and James. Hey, what a holiday gift guide kind of thing. And I guarantee you that will come up because it is such a versatile piece of equipment. And what I love about it, like I said, I don't have a dedicated fridge for water in the sense of I have a tap drilled out or what, or, you know, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 garage fridges. That's my biggest flex. I bought a case of Topo Chico and I have 4 garage fridges. Ugh.
I didn't know you were so wealthy.
I am so wealthy. My wife's a public school teacher and I work for Todd Burns. We are rolling in money.
Whoa.
But every now and then I switch between 2 fridges of which one's going to be my water fridge. And so neither one of them have a permanent installation, but that's why that event faucet's so handy. It just follows the keg. And I use that same event faucet when I'm forced carbonating beer or when my pop comes over. I don't have a proper keezer at my house, but if we do a brew day and he wants to try that Japanese rice lager that's been cold conditioning, I can just pop that baby on there. If it's coming out too fast, I dial it down and bada bing, bada boom. You know, I'm perfectly serving and it's great. I should disclose, I technically make money when y'all buy stuff at kegconnection.com. In some way, it justifies my existence, but I'm not trying to be a salesman for the website. I'm just saying it is a product I wholeheartely believe in. Like it is.
Oh, and I do too. In my situation, I don't need that or have that because I have this dedicated 25-foot line on the water. But you know, there's our options, and I'm glad that you're able to offer him, Stuart, some options, and hopefully he'll find something that works for him. Or somebody heard us, and they'll get him a Christmas present.
That's right, Stuart. You earned it. But like I said, I brought that question mostly because I do get people, and we're not deep diving into it. If anyone out there, I bet you our buddy Wayne Doucette might be one who would have, or Trong, my buddy Trong from Homebrew Lab, but someone could deep dive into the actual physics of carbonating stuff and the levels, because it is a topic where I do hear conflicting information where people say, yeah, carbonate it at this, but serve it at this and you'll be fine in regards to just even water. And like you said, if you carbonate it for a week, that's not going to resolve the issue with this current setup for however many pours it takes for that gas to start coming out of the solution. But he could in the immediate spend, what is tubing per foot? Is it even $1? It's not $1, right? It's like 70 cents.
And I bought really good stuff, the Bedwick stuff. I mean, not the best.
Yeah.
But when I do like 25 feet of line, I get more rigid because it's easier to coil it up on top of the keg and zip tie it. But it's the same stuff. I just got the more rigid stuff. And no, I want to think I was for 25 feet or 30 feet. I think it was like 15.
That's what I mean. And like, and that, in the bigger picture of budget items of what you could spend on a draft setup, that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket.
Right, drop in the bucket.
That's where, Stuart, I think Lorena and I are on the same page. That's where I would start. Do the hose, see if the restriction, 25 feet should be plenty. Because the only alternative I could think of is lowering your PSI. But Stuart's written in before. He's a part of our Chub Club. He wants that Topo Chico bite, and that's why I go so high. You cannot, if you want that San Pellegrino, which, don't get me wrong, San Pellegrino is great, but it just has no bite to it. It has no to it. You're not going to get the Topo Chico bite if you're carbing and serving water at 12 to 15. You're just not going to. Your Cobra Tap can handle it, but if you want that Topo Chico bite, you got to go big. You got to bump those numbers up. So Stuart, thank you so much for submitting that question. Moving on to question number 2. It's an email from our buddy Travis, and he wrote, I am considering purchasing that same Firmzilla all-rounder that you talk about all the time on you and your dad's Brew Day Live, especially if I can find any good Black Friday deals. My main question is about cold conditioning. I do have the space to stick the Firmzilla into my fridge. Is it worth doing that, or do you recommend I keg the beer and then cold condition? I'm trying to avoid suckback or oxidizing my beer as much as possible. Thanks for the advice. It is something that I've not ever considered because I do everything under pressure at 70 or 67 to 70. So I'm almost in range anyways of a normal ale fermentation, just a little bit above. But I keg at the wort or the beer at that point, at that temperature. and then throw it into the fridge. I've never had Suckback. Should I have been worried about Suckback in the keg? Like, have I been doing it wrong this whole time?
No, when they're getting the Suckback, it tends to be when you take a carboy or a fermenter with an airlock in it and chill it. What happens is it contracts, and so you suck back. I've heard stories on Homebrew Talk of people leaving their blow-off tube into place and putting it in the fridge with the blow-off tube, and the entire jar of star sand ends up in the beer. I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about.
Yes.
No, but with your Zilla, you do not have a suckback issue.
I know, but because when we pitch at 72 on the high end, or 70, 75 has been the highest of ends, but like 70, 72, it's in a room that is keeping it between 67, 68-ish. And like I said, and that's the temperature I'm also kegging at. And then I throw it into the fridge immediately after kegging, but I don't put gas on it. I do know one way to mitigate it for him, if I were to keep my Firmzilla full and I had space in my fridge and I didn't transfer, but I put the whole Firmzilla in, if I added gas to it at that point, wouldn't that also prevent suckback? Like, wouldn't that keep, or no, should I not be? I'm trying to think outside the box.
No, because I mean, it could help mitigate, but when the temperature drops, that's just
okay.
Keeping it under pressure. Yeah. I mean, if you keep the spunding valve on it and keep it at that pressure, it can't. But I guess I need to know why you're cold conditioning and what your goals are.
Oh,
if you want to transfer, the cleanest, yeastless, clearest beer, or if you're just cold conditioning, because you know what? I cold condition right in the keg.
Yeah.
It's stainless, so it's airtight. It's no light. You can't get light struck. There's no suckback. And I put gas on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I carbonate as I cold condition. So I guess it depends on the goals. It's like, do you want to cold condition in age, or do you want to have or do you want to put it in a keg with a floating dip tube so you don't get any sediment? There's some other alternatives. And I guess I would say, if it is convenient, I would keg and cold condition. It seems like that's easier, even if your fermenter fits in there, and you don't have to worry about suckback if you don't have a way to prevent it.
Yeah, and I also can't think of a reason to cold condition in the fermenter because I'm so full of myself, I can't think outside of my own reality. Why would someone do that? That's not what I would do.
Because if you have something with, maybe you did a pumpkin beer and you want to drop out as much sediment as you can before you put it in a keg and clog your dip tubes.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or maybe something really hoppy and you're hoping some of the dry hops drop out. Although in my case, they do not. They just seem to hang out there.
Just hang out.
They just hang out. So if you have a real hazy beer and you're hoping to get it clear before kegging, maybe then you want to do it. But if that's the case, if fermentation is done, and if you do put a little gas or something in there, I've used, in my winemaking, I have used stoppers, with no airlock. I guess the vacuums, it depends on, if you're using a Firmzilla, it can take a little bit of that. But I guess it depends on your equipment, what your goals are. But I think if you really are worried about suckback and it's been an issue, then I would keg first.
And just to throw another variable at you, because I'm good at dragging out questions, Lorena, when I do pressure fermentation for conversation's sake, my fermentation's at room temp, right? For conversation's sake. If I were doing it a proper temperature controlled fermentation, would that change the variables or your answer at all in regards to, I would think I'm more vulnerable to suckback doing it at room temp if I were to throw that Firmzilla into the fridge because of how drastic from a 72 degree wort or beer at that point down to 39 within.
But it would also depend on the PSI that you PSI.
You're right. Yeah.
PSI that you have it at. So no,
not that big of a difference. Me,
if I'm making an ale in a bucket with an airlock or a blowout hose, and I stick it in my 39 degree fridge, I can definitely expect it to suck back.
Yeah.
But closed containers or pressure, not so much.
Not so much. Well, and Travis, and it's okay too if you want part of your answer, because Todd does this all the time. The more the details, the better we can respond, because there are missing factors, and that's why I threw out I don't know what temperature Travis ferments at, if he's doing it under pressure, because if there's not the present, I would, like you said earlier, if you're doing it under pressure and you already have that spunding valve and you keep that on when you throw it in the fridge, that's going to be a layer of prevention from suckback occurring, because you're regulating, pardon me, the pressure at all, and it's keeping it from
it's positive pressure.
It's positive pressure, so that you're not getting the negative pressure is what causes suckback.
Right.
And so if you keep the positive pressure, nothing to worry about, my friend. But even better, like you said, I think to wrap up the question, just keg and throw them in the fridge.
Get it
over with. Put a float it on that keg of yours and enjoy. Did I ever send you a float it, by the way? Did I ever send you one? I didn't. I need to send you one. Let me hold on. I'm not going to edit this out. Let me just type the note real quick. Actually, I got to do it on this screen because this computer's taking over. Send. Oh, that did not go to the right place. Okay, Google Docs. Send Lorena the float it, because I promised you I would, and but I make a lot of promises. Ask my wife. I promised the world to her, and she's stuck with me 18 years later. Ha!
Well, that's because you knocked her up. Remember?
Oh, as quick as I could. Absolutely. That could be the title of my memoir. As quick as I could, by Joshua Steubing.
No, I don't think you're going to want a title with that, Josh.
Yeah,
okay, there's
a lot of connotations there. Anyway, Travis, I hope we answered it. If we didn't answer it satisfactorily, okay, someone will comment at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, because they know it helps the algorithm. And while you're there, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. We have just hit 7,000 subscribers, Lorena. We are big time. I think Joe Rogan's at 900 billion, and we're at 7,000. So we're moving on up.
We're gaining on him.
We are catching up. The ball is rolling. The snowball is building.
And I think in another 70, 80 years, we might catch him.
Oh my gosh. I actually told Todd, this is episode, I think, 455. I told him, when we get to episode 600, I'm quitting. We're done. I cannot do 100 episodes with my speech impediment. Episode 662, 660. I can't do it. It'll be so 2 years and some change of people having to hear that. What episode is it, Josh? 606. Yeah, no. Can't do it. I quit. That'll be the final straw, or I'll have to get one of y'all to read every week.
Josh, you just go right to episode 700.
You're right. I do whatever I want. I'm an American. They'll be like, what happened to all those episodes? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'll gaslight everybody. I'll be like, yeah.
Well, there's no 13th floor in the hotel.
There's no 13th floor in this podcast studio. There's no episode 600 or anything in between. No, right. From 599 to episode 700. I like it.
I want the royalties on that, since I came up with the idea.
I'll do it too. That would be hilarious. People will be like, you didn't do, wait, what happened? Just stop asking questions. This is my show. Anyways, Travis, thank you so much for submitting the question. And a reminder, guys, you could email, you could text. That's great. I love the questions. Have a great database full of those questions. However, if you call it in to 325-305-6107 and I use your voicemail on a future episode, you'll get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. Unfortunately, though, our third question is still a text message. Our buddy Robert wrote in. He said, what are some off flavors that time will heal? For example, is diacetyl or diacetyl? Which one? Diacetyl?
Either or.
Okay. Really? Okay. Diacetyl ever going away if I let that beer sit in the keg long enough? Or what about a keg with slight hints of cardboard due to oxidation? Lorena, I know, with certain styles, like a lager specifically, I didn't really start brewing lager till this year, but I did learn one of the benefits of my pressure fermentation is, I guess it suppresses that sulfur so much, and it's already at a temperature I don't have to do a rest that, right. I just let it ferment for the week, and I keg it, and instead of having to a proper lager fermentation, you're at in the 50s and in the mid.
Usually between 48 and 52, 53.
Yeah. So let's just round down to 50. You're at 50, and then you have to bring up the temp for what's called a diacetyl rest to let the yeasties eat out that kind of buttery taste of that's left over. If you don't, and I mean, it's not. I want to say it's more involved, But I guess when you compare it to ale fermentation, it is a little more involved if you're doing it the right way.
And the thing you have to think about is what is causing the off flavors. Okay, so in this case, we're talking about diacetyl, and what, like in diacetyl, as a one of those, what they call them VDKs, it's vinyl dictones. And that is what gives you the diacetyl, is what gives you the buttery, the butterscotch flavor. And there's another one called, it has it's a long name with a P. It's like pentane diol. And that one is the one that tastes like honey. So those VDKs are what you're actually trying to get rid of. And the key is, once the yeast is used up, it's not going to happen. So that's the whole point of that diacetyl rest. So fermenting it cold and then raising the temperature works, because yeast love warmer temperatures. Once you're already fermenting at a warmer temperature, it's probably going to clean up as it is. It's the active yeast. Okay. The other thing, though, with diacetyl, well, all VDKs, is bacterial contamination can cause that too. And you can let it sit forever. It's going to get worse, not better. So the key for diacetyl is and you know what? And I'm going to go back a minute. There are some cases where diacetyl is not just accepted, but actually a pretty good part of the style, some certain English yeast strains and things. So it's not always an off flavor. Kind of like what we were talking about, Belgians, okay?
Yeah.
Cloves is not an off flavor in Hefeweizens and some of those Belgians, but boy, I sure don't want it in my IPA, right? So I want to say off flavors in the eye of the beholder, really. So we're talking about the off flavors that detract from your desired beer flavor, okay? So that is what we're talking about. And the big one everybody tends to talk about is esters. Ferment an ale with a Chico strain at 82 degrees, and it will not taste very good. And if that's the case, because it's a fermentation issue, no amount of standing, waiting, babying it, cold conditioning it is gonna fix that. Okay. So most of what we consider off flavors, like acetaldehyde, diacetyl in pronounced amounts, really not fixable. It doesn't hurt to let it age. I can tell you the one off flavor that I know will age, if it's a kind of a boozy ale and it's very strong alcohol. That's the time when you want to age your Russian Imperial Stout or your barley wines, okay? Those mellow. But in those cases, it might be an off flavor when the beer's real young, but not when it gets older, okay? He mentioned oxidation too, right?
He did, and in my understanding, that's done. Once
it's going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse.
In very, very, very early oxidation, the first, I'll use an IPA as an example because that's where it's more notable. A little bit of muted hop flavor, a little bit of maybe some sweetness that wasn't there before. Okay. That's very early oxidation. So when people tell me, I've been splashing my beer for 20 years and I don't have oxidation. Well, you like those flavors you're getting because you're drinking your beer early enough that it's not that bad.
Yep.
By the time, I think he said cardboard, right? So by the time you get that cardboard, this is last stage oxidation.
Yeah.
And there's another oxidation too that I've come across in the years. Dark malts, like I did an ESB, and it had a distinct metallic finish near the end of the keg. Metallic is often due to oxidation with some darker malts and things. Yeah. So you aren't going to fix those. You might be able to fix acetaldehyde, which is that green apple flavor in a green beer. If it's very, very, very young and the yeast is still kind of active, you may be able to let that age a couple more weeks and age out. But otherwise, no, it's stuck there. Light struck is stuck. I don't think you can do anything about that. I'm just like a happy camper today.
No, I love it.
Optimism everywhere. Huh?
No, I love it. But a lot of those too, though, are mitigated through hygiene. This is a good time to just plug how important it is for good hygiene practices in your keg sanitation. Also, clothes transfer. This could be a walking billboard for clothes transfer, purging your keg or whatever vessel that you're packaging in. But let's be real here. It's 2025. You should be in a keg. If you're bottling now, I'm sorry if you bottle.
Oops.
Yeah,
And the other thing is not just, okay, so those are two. The packaging is, but you can get musky from, say, old ingredients.
oh
That
yeah,
beer kit you bought in 2001 and it's been sitting in your basement. You're probably going to get some musky or
yeah,
other flavor. And no, that won't age out. If you don't hate the beer, drink it or just throw the kit away. There's two things, though, that I think that prevent almost all of these off flavors. Yeast health.
yes,
Yeast health. Pitch the right amount of yeast at the right temperature at the right time.
yep,
And 99% of the time, the other part is sanitation, taking care, cleaning your beer lines. You can have a clean tasting beer in the keg, and if it comes through some dirty beer lines, you're going to taste the asshole.
yep. It don't be
Just
gross.
the way it is.
Just the way
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
The beer might be fine, but so prevent light struck. Cover the carboy if you're using glass in this day and age. So I think, okay, here's the short answer to his question. No.
I like that because it's true. It really is. Like for the most part, like you said, keep drinking it while you're enjoying it, Robert. But don't think it's going away. It's very rare that
Going to get worse.
It's probably going to get worse. That I think I had told you about the hijinks of I tried to ferment in a 10-gallon keg, but I did it too close to the brim. Had a blowout. Had to open it up. It was terrible. I oxidized the beer as well. I had some of it left because I took it out of that fermenter into two smaller kegs, obviously. When I was cleaning out this kegerator, this chest freezer that maybe one day will be a teaser, but right now it's just cold conditioning all of our beer. I realized I only dumped one of those kegs. And so this was a couple weeks ago, probably. I put on the Becker event faucet and I'm like, let's just see what it tasted like. Dude, it was leather. I did not know if you let an oxidized beer sit long enough, not only does it not get better, it gets leather. It was like the weirdest taste. I almost wanted to keep it to serve to Todd. No, Todd would be brutal. James is always very polite with I don't know if he's ever criticized my beer as harshly as he could. To be fair, I don't share beer with him as much because I brew 10 gallons and I keep 5 for me and give Todd 5. But, I would love to share it with someone who's always hyper encouraging to my beer and be like, hey, I just brewed this experimental beer. What do you think? And they would taste it and be like, it tastes like cigar shop sofa. Like it does not taste good. It was one of the grossest things I've ever tasted in my life. It was awful. But like you said, I drug out your very short answer. No, Robert, there's no off flavors. Don't rely on time.
Well, there is one. If you're tasting a very, 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 very young beer and you get a little bit of yeastiness.
Oh, right.
Let that cold condition. It could be an off flavor because of fermentation flaws.
Yeah.
But it is something that might and probably will in a very young beer. That's what they call green beer. Maybe a little acetaldehyde, maybe a little yeast, but otherwise, no, drink it while you got it, while you can stand it.
When the acetaldehyde, that's the green apple off flavor, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
The green apple, kind of even like rotten pears.
Yeah.
And there's other things that are vegetal, like DMS and sulfur. Those in a lager, sulfur can sometimes improve. Some yeast throw a lot more sulfur that does age out. But overall, if you're getting stinky cabbage, it's DMS or what?
Yeah.
And you're young. Do you remember Rolling Rock beer?
I went to college.
Flavor
yes.
was DMS.
Was it really?
It was. It was. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no.
And it was a big thing in Latrobe, PA. And I was. It was a number of years ago, but I was in some beer store, and it was in the premium area. There was stuff that we used to get for like $3 a 6-pack when we were kids.
There was.
When we were adults,
Yeah. Legal drinking age.
Yes, or you give the $6 to the bum on the corner store,
and he'd go buy it.
$3 6-pack, and he'd get it for you.
No, there was a local brewery to Todd and James. It's not there anymore, and I won't name names, but they had a batch of they were marketing it as Grandma's Butterscotch Blonde, and then Not ironically either. And there were people on at their time when they were open on their YouTube, on their Facebook page. This brewery's moved. It wasn't Teddy's, if anyone's asking. It wasn't our buddy Wes. It was a different brewery in that area. And people were like, "That's the best beer I've ever had. I loved it. Reminded me of Grandma's house." I'm like, this is why I'm not for democracy. These people vote. This is not fair.
Well, they should have called it the Harry Potter butter beer. It would have been a lot more famous.
Absolutely. You're right. He missed marketing opportunity. But that guy said, "I'm not going to throw out this whole whatever, 2 barrels of beer that I brewed. I'm going to call it Grandma's Butterscotch Blonde," whatever. It was disgusting. But what's not disgusting is we have a fourth and final question. I'll get us to it because I know your time's valuable, and valuable-ish. My time.
Not really. I
know.
Just sit here drinking beer.
I know.
I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, but for everyone who stuck around and listened, we got one more question, but a final reminder, if and when you call in your question or feedback to 325-305-6107, and I use that voicemail on a future episode, you'll get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. Our fourth and final question for the show is a text message from our buddy Will. He said, "Help, my stout has stalled. Original gravity was 1070. Final gravity is sitting at 1029. Brewfather, boo. A Brewfather suggested my final..." I'm kidding.
I refuse to answer.
Yeah, right. I won't do it. Brewfather suggested my final gravity should be 1015. It's been a day and a half now, and I don't know what to do. Add more yeast? Call it a day? I didn't do the numbers, but that's, a 5 and some odd percent stout at this point. It's going to be I
didn't do the numbers either. Couple of things. First of all, software is only as good as making an estimate as to the yeast attenuation. Okay. So if I'm putting a Chica strain in there and the typical is 85%, they're probably going to give you the higher end of that yeast attenuation. I'm not saying don't acknowledge it, but what I'm saying is ingredients play a much greater role. I don't know what's in this beer, but since it's a stout, I'm assuming there's going to be some crystal malt, some roasted malt, maybe some less fermentable things. I also don't know the mash temperature.
Yeah.
The higher mash temperature could probably help, keep some multi-triose in there that is not as fermentable. The higher the mash temperature. I don't know the fermentation temperature. So if it's being fermented at 62, it might, or the yeast strain. Some yeast strains are notorious for going to 58%, sitting there for a while, and then kicking in again.
Yeah.
So right now, don't just do nothing, just stand there. It's been a day and a half. It's probably a little bit longer now since he sent the question. The other thing is this person using a refractometer or hydrometer.
Good point. No, good point.
Because without using the calculator correction, you don't really know what. We have to kind of explain that. A refractometer is wonderful. It's a wonderful tool in your brewery, but it measures the refraction. I should have another beer. A refraction of light in a sucrose solution. Okay, so once alcohol is in the mix, that skews that refraction. So once alcohol is in the mix, you're not going to get a real great reading. You might get pretty okay if you use an alcohol correction table or software. So is that the case? Or did he use a calibrated hydrometer for both of those readings at 69 degrees or whatever the calibration temperature? So all that said, those are things that we don't know, so we have to make some assumptions. We're assuming he's using a hydrometer. We're assuming his ingredients and his mash temperature were reasonable. We're assuming he didn't use any simple sugars because it's a big stout. So I would say I've had stouts that stop at 1025, a bigger stout. And it was wonderful and delicious and fabulous. Had some body to it. A dry stout is going to finish a lot lower. It's a lower alcohol. So I guess right now I would wait. I would look at the ingredients. I would look at my mash temperature and see if the true expectation would be that it would be lower.
He actually sent this to me Sunday, and I told him I'm going to take it this week. I've got Lorena on, so when I sent it,
okay, so we got to call him.
When I sent it to you Sunday, the PDF, I literally just it was a 3-question episode, and then he texted me, and I was like, "Brother, just hold tight. I'm going to bring you on the show." My personal advice is basically what you've been saying. I said, if you're not in a rush, brother, let it sit. Because it might take off, but also too, I feel validated because I told him, I said, worst case, it's going to be a little bit bodied, and sweeter, but I've had fantastic stouts with those characteristics. And
it may not be sweeter because a higher final gravity doesn't necessarily mean sweeter, because there are some unfermentables that aren't sweet,
good point.
And there's still malt flavors. So you might get you have maltose and multitriose, and so the complex carbs may not be sweet, but they may not be broken down. You might get some body out of that, some fullness, some mouth fullness, which I think is good.
It's great in a stout.
Most stouts.
Yeah,
right.
No,
and
absolutely.
So it depends on what the recipe is. So no, it actually might be okay. It might drop 5 more points too.
I bet when Will's watching this though, because I am waiting to publish this on Thanksgiving. Lorena and I are recording this on a Tuesday, so it's only been now for Will. It's been, I guess that'd be 3.5 days instead of
3
just
days.
1.5 days, 3 full days. But that's there'd be an additional day and a half before he listens. But either way, Will, you're good. You're good to just sit. But I bet you he's going, why, Josh, didn't you ask me for more details? And then Lorena could have answered it better. And
from now on, everybody, tell us too much.
Tell us too much.
Because we can cut out the too much and get to it. Because with brewing, well, like all crafts, there's a lot of variables.
A lot.
And the more variables we know and can roll out, the more helpful we can be.
You know, that's how this show keeps going, though, is because people don't know what to ask or how to ask it. And then we can always just chastise them. You didn't give us enough info. And then NetSuite take another question and then chastise them.
We're not chastising. We're encouraging further, deeper discussion.
Yeah. That's what I meant to say. That's what you meant. But
okay,
Will, how could you not tell us everything, Will? Oh, golly.
Feel better now, Jeanette?
This audience of mine, the nerve of them to submit a question to the great. All 4 of them. How dare they? And I just changed their names up each week. How dare they? Yeah, he was Will this week. Next week, he'll be Bob. I'm just changing them up. I'm
going to change my name when I call in, too, because I want more free stuff from
call in a voicemail. Yeah. The new guys, I still have to work it with them. You know, Keg Connection's being run by our good friends in California who do Keg Outlet and brew brands. I forget the name of their actual company. Sorry, guys. We love them, but they still support the show. If you go to kegconnection.com, you see our logo and stuff there, but I have to hash out the details about the gift card arrangements, and they have not disagreed to do it. I just don't remember the number, so I've just been giving their money out. But I haven't taken, but to be fair to me, I have probably 15 to 18 voicemails in the bank here, but 4 of them are usable. The rest of them are really just people sucking up to me. I will say that. I was griping earlier about, you should read the feedback people left about me, how mean it was. That was the early days. Now it's just people who want gift cards and like, hey, is this Homebrew Happy Hour? Josh is so good looking and he's like the best ever. And my name's Tim from Charlotte and I'd love a gift card. Okay, bye. So it's like, I love that. Don't get me wrong. I could make a whole Instagram series based on people sucking up, but I can't use that on the show. That's not something I can. I wouldn't mind giving Todd's money away for something so goofy.
Me neither.
But other people, I can't give their money away like that.
I know.
I mean, I can.
But now that everybody's heard my laryngitis voice, I've got to come up with a new one.
You do that? That's right. Well, I told you when we were recording, I said, like, when I inevitably get the awful disease I deserve, it'll probably be throat cancer. I'm going to do the show with, welcome back to the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the, I could do it pretty good. Nothing will stop this show from going besides episode 600 through 699. That's the only thing standing in my way. And unless they invent a cure for a lateral lisp, I think that's the one I have. I think lateral, not frontal.
Well, if you can say lateral lisp without lisping, I'm pretty sure you don't have it.
No, but that's you're thinking of frontal lisp. That's frontal lisp. Mine's from the side.
Oh.
Mine's lateral.
I don't think I can say lateral lisp.
You got it. No,
lisping.
If you look, I think I had my pacifier too long. I blame my mom. And then, so now I have...
Do you still have that damn thing?
I do. Hold on. No. Now it's a beer bottle. It's just I have problems.
A cigar.
And it is really a cigar. That is the pacifier now. You're right. I'm a total addict. And nicotine gum. Look at what I keep at my desk at all times. Nicotine gum. Oh,
good. Yeah, that's good for you.
But this is only the 2 milligram one. It's not giving me throat cancer yet, probably. They haven't done...
This is my emotional support.
That's right. Yeah, I love it too. It's the wrong label, but we'll take it. It says she's on Team Nice. Come on.
Today.
Come on. Not in my experience. No. Lorena, well, first off, thank you, Will, for submitting the question. As always, guys, if you're watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour and anything that we said rubs you the wrong way, let us know in the comments, because not only do you get to air out your grievances, it helps us with the algorithm. It's a win-win for both of us, for this show and for the podcast, for the YouTube channel. So, Will, thank you for submitting that. Lorena, I sincerely appreciate your time as always, my friend. It's been a pleasure. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving Day, regardless of what y'all choose to do. And I sincerely appreciate you always being willing to do the show, because I will. When you told me that you would do it, I've been hitting you up a lot more, and so
you have.
But I really do appreciate you.
I appreciate being here, and I've had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, of course you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. Of course you could email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. But even better, you're going to call it in to 325-305-6107 and get your chance at winning or being gifted a gift card to kegconnection.com. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntons Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already using Muntons, give them a try by joining the Trub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium liquid imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. Stop me if you've heard this, but you can't because I'm on a podcast. You need to go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join a recipe receiving tier, and come brew with us. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you to everyone in the Trub Club. I'm Joshua Stubing. Thank you for listening.